What's up, Yoda Gang? Hope everybody's having a wonderful day today. It is sunny in beautiful Arizona, but just wanted to kind of sit down and make a little video on people who are new to the third gen Tundra, who are looking to, lift it, add wheels, whatever the case might be, coming from somebody who recently bought a 2024 Toyota Tundra Platinum in the hybrid, and then kind of went the course of trial and error, trying to figure out what works and what doesn't, in terms of the offset, in terms of the lift, making sure things don't rub. There's a couple things that I did initially, and this is speaking in regards to wheel fitment. I ended up I have a Tundra Platinum, right? So I ended up going with the AT3W Falcon Wild Peaks in a 285 6520 initially. And I said, let's see how it looks with these wheels with the stock ride height. And it had a pretty aggressive look. Honestly, it looked good. I liked it a lot. I'll throw in a picture of how it looked. It cleared the 35s, which they're technically a 34.6, I believe, the 285 6520s and the AT3s, but it cleared them, no rub at all. But I always felt like it just needed to be raised. Like I just wanted to lift. I didn't know which one to go with. I thought of a few different options. I looked at the Westcott Designs preload collar. And I think, I've spoke to Jeff Westcott a few times, and it's a great kit. It's actually a really cost effective kit for getting, about almost 3 inches of lift. But I kind of wanted to go with something more OEM, and saw that TRD 3-inch lift kind of really intrigued me, just because it was a very comprehensive kit, and it had, it's kind of solved for all the geometry changes for lifting at 3 inches. So I ended up going that route. There's other, brands out there that are great, like the Icon stuff is really good too. But I ended up going TRD 3-inch. And with the TRD 3-inch, I ended up thinking, okay, what wheels should I go with? I didn't want to keep the OEM wheels, the Platinum OEM wheels. I wanted to kind of switch it up, and I know Method's a great brand, so I ended up going with a Method 305 double black in a plus 18. It was the 18x9. I ended up going to the AT4Ws in a 285/75 18, which is a 35 diameter by 11.8 inches wide. I had been told by Toyota the plus 18 would work, and it turns out with the TRD 3-inch, where the drop down relocation bracket goes for the sway bar, it ended up rubbing at full lock to the right on the sway bar. And it was really, for such an expensive truck and for the money I spent on the kit, I said, that's not going to work out. Like, I'm going to have to change it. And I kept researching, okay, what can I do? They said, all right, take off the brackets and put the sway bar at the regular location. And when I did that, I noticed a ton of body roll. I just didn't like how it drove. I said, so that's not going to work. I looked at the Icon 1-inch spacers for the sway bar, and I considered going that route. But at the end of the day, the TRD 3-inch lift kit came with the drop-down brackets, and so I ended up saying I need to just modify my offset of my wheels. I either need to go with spacers, Spider Tracks 1-inch spacers, or change my wheels. And ultimately, I decided that I'm just going to bite the bullet and change my wheels. So I ended up going with a -12 in the 305 double black. They don't make a zero offset. And that being said, I ended up also adding the Rough Country Sport fender flares in gloss black. Those fender flares push it out 1.5 to 2 inches, and it allows you for a wider, more negative offset wheel. And so My setup now, I'm thrilled with. It's got enough poke for it to look, beefy, but it's not overdoing it. If I didn't have the fender flares on from Rough Country, I think it would poke too much at a -12. But I really like how it looks now, and I highly recommend that you kind of are aware that it will rub with a 35 tire on the TRD lift if you're running 35s, especially 35s with a 12 and a half. But I think that there's a lot of, people out there putting out good information, and I think you should do your research before you kind of spend a whole bunch of money and just play trial and error and end up, not finding the best suited setup from the get-go and then just dropping a whole bunch of money like I did. That's my advice to everybody in the Yoda gang. If anybody has any questions, super helpful to reach out and just talk to people. I think that that's the best way to do it, and there's a lot of people in the community who are willing to talk. I spoke to a lot of people throughout the process, and everyone was willing to chat. A lot of the creators on YouTube also. So everyone have a wonderful day, and take it easy, Yoda gang.